Welcome to Everyday Reviews. Today we're going to have a look at the all-new 2024 Subaru Impreza. This happens to be the RS edition, and we're going to tell you why we think maybe you should buy this Impreza over the popular Crosstrek. Plus, we have a special guest in store for you. All this and more after this. We're going up a hill. All right, we have special guest Sammy in the house for our guest reviewer again. If you haven't seen Sammy before, we were doing the GV70 electrified. Sammy, a little bit of auto journalist royalty.
Oh, come on.
Car and driver writer right there. So go check his stuff out for sure.
Well, thank you for having me. I can't wait to talk about this car that we're in today.
So yeah, so the Impreza RS we're in here. So the RS is back, and yeah, let's just talk about first of all, this is an all-new design for the Impreza. It's essentially the same thing as the Crosstrek, right?
Yeah.
You know, we'll talk about that in a second, but you know, all new platform. It looks different. There's two new colors. There's a blue, and this is pure red. So yeah, it's what it is. It's red. The grill's a little bit bigger now. You get more streamlined lines, and you know, you get a standard LED steering responsive headlamps. I like the fog lamps. I think they look really good.
Yeah.
We get side sills or skirts exclusive for the RS, and you get black 18-inch wheels. Standard, you get 16-inch wheels on the convenience. These are Canadian models that we're talking about. Go to touring, get 17-inch, and you get 18 on the RS. There is also one other trim level that's been added, and it's exclusive for Canada, and that is the Sport Tech.
Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, interesting. If you wanted everything in your Impreza, that's the one.
It comes with Navi as well as leather, you know, for it. So yeah, pretty decent. What else is new for this Impreza?
Well, I mean, I think what's really impressive is the driver focus monitoring system, which is a driver-facing camera that's supposed to help people stay focused on the road and ensure that they're not at risk of causing any accidents like that. There's also a new EyeSight camera system. They call it a mono camera. They say it has nearly 180 degrees field of vision, mainly used for seeing cyclists or pedestrians. Yeah, so yeah, you have mono and a new stereo camera for the standard EyeSight, by the way. Also available an 11.6-inch display now. That's big. It's huge, yeah.
It's huge. With the larger screen, you get standard Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. However, there's one thing that we do agree on this screen. What is that?
It's that when you throw it in reverse, the backup camera system doesn't take up advantage of any of the additional screen real estate. It just takes up half of the screen, and the other half is blank. It looks kind of useless.
Yeah. It kind of drives me nuts too a little bit, you know, when you have all this real estate. But I do like how the most used functions on your vehicle are actual hard buttons.
Right.
You know, so your temperature control, your volume, everything are actual real buttons. So you don't have to go through the menu on the screen, which is really nice.
Very helpful. But did you talk about this motor in this in this RS, right? This is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, as you mentioned, very similar to what you get in some of the top trims of the Crosstrek. In my mind, if you find the body cladding of those Crosstreks maybe too rugged or maybe a little ugly, the Impreza will work, right? Yeah. So the RS and the Sport Tech come with the 2.5, which is 182 horsepower and 178 pound-feet of torque. Yeah. And that's considerably more than the base, and the touring gets the 2-liter with 152 horsepower and 145 pound-feet of torque. They're both matched to the CVT. Yeah, no manuals. But you know what? It might not sound like a lot, 184 or 182, but that's like what? Like 20% more power? That's better than nothing, you know? Like, at least there's something more.
And you know what? This CVT is pretty good. Right. It is pretty good. It's fairly quiet, and you do have the artificial shift points, right? So if I've got the paddle shifters here, so we can actually use it for engine braking.
Yeah.
And yeah, it really does a pretty good job of mimicking a conventional automatic transmission with those shift points. It's not bad at all. And now let's talk about handling. This RS, it looks sportier, looks quite sporty.
Yeah.
But is it sportier?
I'm not totally sold on that because they didn't make any adjustments to the suspension system, so it rides just the same as any of the other Imprezas that you'd be driving. It just has the more horsepower.
Yeah, it does have the more horsepower. They've also taken the steering from the WRX and thrown it in here. So it's a dual pinion electric power steering system from WRX. It makes things a lot more precise, to say.
It feels very good. The steering, I do agree, is pretty nice.
One thing that we both noticed as well, though, the brakes.
Yes.
The brakes on this
touchy
are
brakes.
really, really touchy near the top.
Right.
So we're on this amazing road, by the way. Check, these visuals are stunning.
Yeah.
We're going from Whistler to Lillooet in British Columbia, and just like the scenery, it's a $1 billion view.
It's beautiful.
Right? And so lots of twisty roads. We're trying to be as smooth as possible for each other so we don't get sick. And it's kind of a little bit difficult on the brakes. They're not as progressive as I would actually like them to be. Whether you're letting off or when you're applying them, they're plenty powerful. It's just not the most smooth experience that there is.
I agree with you. It could be tuned a little bit better in terms of how quickly they grab, but this is the one thing I think reduces the refinement of the drive, which is something that I think Subaru is really trying to achieve with this new model.
And speaking of refinement, they've did a lot of work and research on minimizing not just like noise, but vibration and on all the harshness, even small things, different acoustic materials, but the seats themselves, they've eliminated a seat mount even, and they've bolted the seats bolted directly to this new chassis.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
It's not usual for Subaru to make these kinds of changes. NVH has been, or noise and vibration has been a low point for Subaru over the years, and now they're finally acknowledging that and trying to rectify it as much as they can. But when you talk about the Impreza and any Subaru, in fact, you can't forget to mention the all-wheel drive system, right? This is the main reason people want to get a Subaru. It's standard all-wheel drive, something that you don't get as standard equipment in a Mazda 3 or a Corolla.
Or a Civic.
Or a Civic at all, in any way or form.
Yeah, so this, in this class of vehicle, this is the only one that comes standard with the all-wheel drive system, and it's a real tried and true system for sure. So if you look at the competition, you mentioned the Mazda 3, you can get that in all-wheel drive. That's an additional $6,300 option to get into the all-wheel drive. So that makes this thing actually a really good value. So for 2024, the price has increased a little bit, but
not by much, $1,700.
Yeah.
But you get all this extra standard equipment.
Extra standard equipment. We need there's even an additional airbag for the passenger.
Thank goodness.
As well, you get the standard, the upgraded EyeSight, the standard LED steering responsive lights. You get all that.
And dual zone climate control.
That's new too. Yeah. Right? That's all standard on this. Also standard heated seats as well on all trims, right? Which is handy for us Canadians out here. So, who is this Impreza for? Who do you think?
Honestly, I think it's after bargain hunters. People who really want to get the most car for the least amount of money. I think standard equipment is really one of Subaru's advantages over the competition, and the extra confidence of all-wheel drive. I will admit the powertrain, both the 2-liter and the 2.5, aren't the most exciting vehicles on the market, but they get the job done. We've made some passes here and there. It works. But if you're looking for something a little bit more with more driver engagement or more power, you're going to find that maybe in the turbocharged Mazda 3 or Civic Si. If you don't think you need that kind of those driving dynamics, then the Subaru will definitely work, and it has so much space, especially now because it's hatchback only.
Yeah, so hatchback only. you know, we mentioned at the beginning of here, this is essentially, you know, one of the most popular vehicles is the Subaru Crosstrek. People love the Crosstrek. You do ride a little higher. This rides lower.
Yep.
You don't have any cladding. You know, the outdoor cladding or plastic cladding you get on the Crosstrek, but you're essentially getting the same vehicle. The interior space is pretty well identical, other than actually the cargo room. You actually get a little bit more with this Impreza because this doesn't have a spare tire.
You're telling me the crossover is less practical than the car?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and when you're on roads like this, having a car is so much, you know, it's so much more fun to drive.
Absolutely.
You know, we have a lower center of gravity. It's just, it's the way to go, and it's less money than the Crosstrek.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're buying the Crosstrek purely just because you want all-wheel drive, you like the Subaru brand, get an Impreza instead.
You get more space. It's a little bit more fun to drive. It's cheaper too. So why not? You've got some solid reasons to pick up an Impreza over a Crosstrek.
It's no hidden fact that the compact car class in Canada is a declining class.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone is jumping into at least, you know, a compact SUV. Do you think Subaru has done enough with this brand new Impreza to get people back into a car?
Yeah, I think they've done just enough, and I think it starts with the Crosstrek too. Take the bones of the Crosstrek, minimize it a little bit, and you've got the Impreza, and there's nothing wrong with that.
You get a lot of standard features, and the price is really, really attractive. Remember, you get standard symmetrical all-wheel drive, right? So this starts at just $26,795 Canadian.
Yeah.
That's you're gonna get that's with the 2-liter. And this RS with everything you see here, you even get the power sunroof and even wireless charging.
Yeah.
The larger screen, you get it all for $31,795.
Yeah, really not bad. That's value.
It really is value. If you don't need to go off-road at all, it's like there's really no reason to get a Crosstrek. I'm not telling you, hey, Crosstrek's bad, but save yourself a few bucks and grab an Impreza. All right, that's it for our look at the brand new Subaru Impreza. Special thanks to Sammy for joining us on this review. Always enjoy his insight on all the vehicles that he drives as well. And yeah, what a beautiful day for a drive, especially on these roads.
Great day for a drive.
See you next time.
Bye.